One Zambia, one nation. The main news broadcast at 19 hours. To present it, I'm Rafael Kumwende. And our sign language interpreter this evening is Pastor Johannes Getan. Top stories in the news. Veteran politician and freedom fighter Mama Chibesa Kankasa has been put to rest. Secretary to the Treasury, Fredson Nyamba, implores controlling officers to ensure irregularities pronounced in the Auditor General's report begin to get reversed in future audit instances. Food Reserve Agency Board Chairperson Jose Machela says the agency has continued to buy maize as it seeks to meet the 500,000 metric tons strategic reserves. And in sports, the Zambia women national football team has beaten the Black Queens of Ghana in an international friendly game played this afternoon. The news now in detail. President Edgar Lungu says politicians have a lot to learn from late freedom fighter Mama Chibesa Kankasa's admirable political legacy and leadership. President Lungu says Mama Kankasa was a great leader who preached peace and unity among Zambians, even amid political tension. The head of state says Zambians will do well to honor her legacy by coexisting as a nation. President Lungu said this during the requiem mass for the late Mama Kankasa at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Lusaka today. Mark Zilgone has more in the following report.
Born in 1936 and fondly called Mama Kankasa, she joined other politically conscious contemporaries at the age of 19 to fight for the country's independence. After that was achieved in 1964, Mama Kankasa served as Minister of Women Affairs from 1968 to 1988. She was part of UNIP's inner circle, being a member of the Central Committee led by President Kenneth Kaunda. And President Edgar Lungu led hundreds of people to pay their last respect to the late freedom fighter at Lusaka's Cathedral of the Holy Cross. President Lungu urged Zambians to draw lessons from Mama Kankasa's life.
As a nation, let us draw lessons from her life, which she sacrificed and dedicated to the country's political dispensation. Mama Kankasa embraced love, not only to her children and family, but even beyond. Her home was open to everyone, to the vulnerable. She extended a helping hand in various ways, including offering education, shelter, and food.
Family representative Kenneth Chibesa Kunda described Mama Kankasa as a loving mother.
To us as a family, she was a pillar. She was a unifier. She did not look at a person's tribe, a person's color. She looked at people, as God made us on this earth.
And daughter of the late Mama Kankasa, Chipepo, said her mother will be remembered for being a dedicated servant of the Lord.
Mom was also a very spiritual woman and was very active in her church, the United Church of Zambia. At the age of 70 years, she demonstrated that learning is a lifelong process by embarking on training in theology. She received a certificate in preaching and counseling in 2008 and a certificate in theology in 2010.
The late Mama Kankasa is survived by 10 children, 19 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. She has been put to rest at Lusaka's Leopards Hill Memorial Park. Mark Zilgone, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
The National Road Fund Agency has urged Copperbelt residents to support road tolling as a homegrown and sustainable way of funding road maintenance and construction. This is ahead of the commissioning of the 43 million kwacha Michael Chilufya-Sata toll gate between Ndola and Kitwe on the Copperbelt by President Edgar Lungu tomorrow. NRFA Public Relations Manager Alphonsus Hamachila says the Michael Chilufya-Sata tollgate will make a significant contribution to maintaining the Ndola-Kitwe dual carriageway. Here's a report.
It is a national tolling program set to create a permanent, homegrown and sustainable of funding road maintenance and construction. Since inception, government has collected over 648 million kwacha from the national tolling program.
These are the monies that have come from the 10 inland toll stations, the weighbridge collection points, and also the ports of entry. These monies have been utilized in accordance the Tolls Act number 14 of 2011.
Here on the Copper Belt, construction of the second toll plaza between Kitwe and Ndola has just been completed at the cost of 43 million kwacha.
President Edgar Lungu is expected to commission the Michael Chilufya-Sata toll plaza here in Ndola.
Final preparatory works are being done here in readiness for commissioning. For the National Road Fund Agency, the opening of the toll plaza named after the late Republican President Michael Chilufya-Sata is not only exciting but also significant.
It's the only homegrown solution to maintaining roads in the country, and also by extension road construction and rehabilitation. We are also urging all those who reside within a 10-kilometer radius of this toll station to come forward and register for local user discounts.
But this is not the only one. A third toll plaza is under construction in Kitwe.
The Ganaton toll station will be called the Edgar Chagwalungu toll station, and this is one of the major toll stations in this country. In terms of traffic counts, it will be the highest trafficked toll station, about 20,000 vehicles.
The president, who has a fully packed program, will also inspect works at the $400 million Ndola International Airport.
Mshotampundu, ZNBC News in Ndola.
Secretary to the Treasury, Fred Sonyamba, has implored controlling officers to ensure irregularities pronounced in the Auditor General's report begin to get reversed in future audit instances. Mr. Yamba says controlling officers are instrumental in actualizing President Edgar Lungu's vision of ensuring that there is prudence in the management and utilization of public resources. He said this during the official opening of a sensitization seminar on the new public financial management in Chisamba. Meanwhile, Accountant General Dick Sichembe says the Ministry of Finance has embarked on an asset registration exercise for all public assets and stores so as to strengthen accountability, oversight, management and control in accordance with the law. And Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Buletin Samukela says controlling officers need to build their financial governance team through close collaboration with accounting, auditing and procurement personnel. And Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Chanda Kasolo called on fellow permanent secretaries and other controlling officers to nurture a cordial working relationship with the Provincial Office Auditor General to benefit from their guidance on public financial matters. This is contained in a statement made available to ZNBC News today by Minister of Finance spokesperson Chileshe Kandeta. Chief Justice Irene Mambilima says the amendment of the High Court rules regarding the operations of the judicial system will unlock the investment opportunities for Zambia. Justice Mambilima says the change in adjudication from being judge-driven to the newly predictable justice delivery system will make Zambia a favorable investment destination. The Chief Justice was speaking during a workshop for judges on the High Court Amendment Rules and Court-Annexed Mediation Rules held in Lusaka. At the same event, Chairperson Advisory Committee on Court-Annexed Mediation and Delay Reduction, Justice Nigel Muntuna, has implored judges in the country to embrace global judicial trends.
Investors frown upon their funds being locked up in lengthy court proceedings and the lack of a timetable for the conclusion of a case. Banks and other lending institutions are key here because their funds, when freed from litigation, are plowed back into the financial market by way of lending to other customers. This stimulates the economy and makes it vibrant. Council will now, with confidence, be able to advise their foreign and local clients exactly when they can expect their matters, not only to go to trial, but also be concluded by way of a judgment. We will achieve this by virtue of the strict timelines for various stages of the litigation, which the judges
Council, and all litigants will have to adhere to.
Your attendance here is very relevant because the rules that we shall be adopting today are rules that will govern you. That is the conduct with respect to the High Court judges, with respect to the 2 appellate courts. Your presence here is necessary because appeals that will be coming to your 2 courts will be arising from the very rules that we'll be discussing today.
Food Reserve Agency Board Chairperson Joe Semachela says the agency has continued to buy maize as it seeks to meet the 500,000 metric tons strategic reserves. Mr. Semachela has since urged farmers to continue taking their maize to the nearest FRA depots. And Millers Association of Zambia President Andrew Chintala has called on millers and other private buyers to go to areas where FRA has no presence to buy maize. Details are in the following report.
Of late, there have been concerns from various stakeholders and the general public on Zambia's food security in view of the Food Reserve Agency having not met its targeted strategic reserve purchase by the close of the 2018 marketing season.
This current season, we've managed to purchase about 172,000 metric tons. Of course, that is basically below our expectation of 500,000 metric tons. But notwithstanding that, one thing which I would want to assure you is that the nation is food secure.
Mr. Semachela also had this assurance to farmers.
As FRA, as to receiving maize, I would like to assure that there has been engagement at the highest level to ensure that our farmers are settled over the maize which has been supplied this season in the shortest possible time. So we should be able to clear all our farmers within this month of November.
Millers Association of Zambia President Andrew Chintala has allayed in panic.
The situation on the copper belt proves to be a bit different from what I've seen here. So there's a lot of grain in southern province. So don't be worried that tomorrow you might not find a bag of mealie meal in the shops. So you are assured that tomorrow through to the next harvest season, you will be able to buy mealie meal without any panic and at least at affordable prices.
Private buyers like Livingstone's Msanza Milling General Manager Stuart Stowe is satisfied with the supply of maize on the market, which has pleased the Millers Association.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to take advantage of the low prices earlier in the season because we don't have storage facilities.
My call to the grain traders and the millers is there's maize here, let's see what we can do because there's plenty of maize for everyone else to share.
Elias Lungu, ZNBC News, Livingstone.
Mineral government has assured all the 172,000 farmers under the Farmer Input Support Program in Central Province that they will receive their inputs in readiness for the 2018-2019 farming season. Central Province Permanent Secretary Chanda Kabwe says the region has received all the inputs and farmers will start accessing them next week. Mr. Kabwe says for the first time in Central Province, farmers started depositing their 400 kwacha contributions in October. And government has this year improved on the challenges the province faced in implementing FISP under the electronic voucher system. Speaking in an interview with Nais in Chisamba, Mr. Kabwe said only Ngawe, Serenje, Chitambo and Luano districts I beg your pardon. Mr. Kabwe says for the first time in Central Province, farmers started depositing their 400 kwacha contributions in October. And government has this year improved on the challenges the province faced in implementing the FISP under the electronic voucher system. Speaking in an interview with Nais in Chisamba, Mr. Kabwe said only Ngabwe, Serenje, Chitambo and Luano districts are on the direct input supply, while the rest are on the electronic voucher system.
The government for the first time has started giving the farmers in October, because the last farming season, 2018-2017 farming season, we had a lot of challenges to do with electronic voucher cards. We learned from our previous challenges and we've improved. This is why the districts that gave us a lot of hard time, such as Serenje, are now under a direct redeeming, that the farmers will just go to the shed with authority from a district agriculture coordinating officer, and they are going to be allowed to pick what they need from the sheds.
The Industrial Development Corporation has refuted claims that Zafico has been sold to any investor, foreign or local. IDC Public Relations Manager Namakau Mukelamai says any information to the contrary is untrue. Ms. Mukelamai says IDC has the mandate to reposition its existing portfolio of companies by ensuring sustainable growth and profitability with the aim of listing on the Lusaka Stock Exchange, LUSE, for broader Zambian ownership and benefit through dividends. She says plans are underway to list Zafico on the Lusaka Stock Exchange, and all Zambians will have an opportunity to buy shares, thereby becoming part owners of the company. Ms. Mukelabai says listing on the LUSE will provide Zafico an opportunity to raise cheaper and longer-dated capital to finance business growth, to spur job creation and enhance domestic resource mobilization. This is according to a statement issued to ZNBC News in Lusaka by Ms. Mukelabai. Just now, we take our first commercial break. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Tourism and Arts Permanent Secretary Howard Sikwela says officers in the Department of National Parks and Wildlife in Livingstone will start mounting roadblocks as a preventive measure against poaching. Reverend Sikwela says government continues to receive reports of increased poaching in the Mosio Tunya National Park and is working on modalities to curb the vice. Details are in the following report.
The Zambian government, through the Ministry of Tourism and Arts, has been making strides to make Zambia a leading tourist destination. And national parks are known not only as a major contributor in preservation and conservation of important fauna and flora, but helps boost national and local economies through revenue generation. This is why Tourism and Arts Permanent Secretary Howard Sikwela wants animals protected from poaching.
Reports of poaching are on the increase, and therefore we want our officers to mount roadblocks, to do everything possible to bring this poaching to an end. Look at the kind of meat that we confiscate day in and day out. Look at the way we are busy losing the rhinos here. These things must come to an end.
Reverend Dr. Sikwela also wants the community to take ownership of the national parks and help protect the wildlife.
This can only come to an end if the local people, the community, own this park. I want to tell you that every crime that is committed under the sun, no matter how cautious these people are, there's always someone watching what is happening. So even the killing of our rhinos and things like that, there are always people who are watching what is happening. So we want to appeal to these people to come out in the open and help us bring this kind of poaching to an end.
Recently, 2 white rhinos were killed in the Mosotunya National Park. Angela Limonya, ZNBC News in Livingstone.
Community Development and Social Services Minister Olipa Piri says government will continue to support various groups that seek to improve people's lives. Ms. Piri was speaking when she paid a courtesy call on Northwestern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Douglas Ngimbu at his office. Here's a report.
New Minister of Community Development and Social Services, Olipa Mwansa, has hit the ground running in her portfolio. The minister has embarked on a familiarization tour of her ministry's activities, and her first outing is to Northwestern Province. Ms. Mwansa has kickstarted her tour to the province by paying a courtesy call on Northwestern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Douglas Ngimbu at his office.
We want to clarify to the community and the beneficiaries where this money is coming from, that this money is from the government, so that the people should know. Because now people, they have taken it that we have these challenges which have been there for some time. People, they are thinking that this social price transfer now has come to an end.
From there, she visited the Provincial Community Development Office, which has a skills training center as well. Her last checkpoint was at Kililavalanda Orphanage.
As we are learning this orphanage, and I've seen you have told me that you also have a school which is running from grade 1 to grade 7. We need to have qualified teachers so that as the children, they go out of your school or they go to another grade, at least they have full knowledge.
These 21 teachers are qualified members of staff. from Ministry of Education. So on that one, we cannot say we just pick them to come and help because it's a community school. No, we are working hand in hand with Ministry of Education.
The minister is expected to visit other districts in the province. Wilson Mulinda, ZNBC News, Solwezi.
ZESCO says loss of power that affected 8 provinces was due to a disturbance on the power interconnector system. ZESCO spokesperson Henry Kapata says the interruption on the power transmission equipment at Kitwe's 330 to 220 kV substation resulted in power failure in the 2 provinces. Mr. Kapata says because of that, the system experienced high voltages leading to loss of supply to parts of Lusaka, Central, Muchinga, Northern, Luapula and Eastern provinces. He said this when he featured on ZNBC's Kwacha Good Morning Zambia program in Lusaka.
Some system disturbance at our Kitwe 330 to 220 substation that is in Kitwe. So that particular disturbance led to the loss of power on the Copper Belt and of course Northwestern Province. And as a result of that, we had some high voltage now which led to other provinces also losing power. And we're talking about part of Lusaka, Muchinga, Northern, Luapula and Eastern provinces. And so in the process again, we are talking about 2 generators out of function at Kafiwe Gorge, another 2 generators at the Kariba North Bank out of function, another 2 generators at Mamba Quarries out of function, and Dollar Energy out of function. So you can see that it was a deadly combination of all those system disturbances, faults, leading to the blackout in those provinces. But we managed to correct the situation.
Safety News is up next after this set of commercials. Welcome back. In our Safety News segment tonight, the local authority in Kalulu suspends operations at Jembang Deheng Investments Limited due to poor sanitary conditions. Join us for the details after this. Well, the local authority in Kalulu has suspended operations at Jembang Deheng Investments Limited, specialized in timber processing due to poor sanitary conditions. This was after health inspectors from the local authority pounced on the company. Kalulu Municipal Council Public Relations Manager Dorothy Sampa issued the company management with a closure notice and shut the processing plant using their own locking system. Ms. Sampa has told Zanis in Kalulu that the company failed to comply with the public health regulations despite being warned 2 weeks ago.
Tomorrow morning, come to our offices with the people to start to work. Okay? Oh, we are not stopping you from working. First and foremost, we are appreciating that we provided employment to our youth. Listen, let me finish. All we want is that, can you give a good environment for our people? We are just from the toilets. Those are pit latrines. Look at the investment here. It's a lot of money. You mean you can't sacrifice a little? The structure is there already. Just put something that you can flush so that the fecal matter can quickly go. Yeah, our people are going to get sick. Even there where they are cooking from, there's a borehole, there's water which is not running, stagnant. So there's that underground contamination.
Well, that's all we had in Safety News tonight. Join us for more next week. Just now we go for our final break. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us. Welcome back, and now for the rest of the news. University Teaching Hospital says it is now carrying out 16 surgeries on a daily basis on children born with neurological disorders. And Vice President Inongewina is tomorrow expected to lead a fundraising walk for children born with hydrocephalus and spina bifida cases to assist the neurosurgeon department. Here's a report.
Spinal bifida and hydrocephalus is a birth defect that occurs when the spine and brain do not form properly. And these conditions have become rampant among children in Zambia, especially in the rural areas of eastern and southern provinces. These conditions are due to lack of folic acid in pregnant mothers. Neurosurgeon Senior Medical Superintendent Kachinga Sichizia states that about 12 new cases are recorded every week at the university teaching hospital.
Every week we operate close to maybe 15, 16 cases of new cases of spina bifida and hydrocephalus. And we find that the majority of the mothers of these children are young mothers.
The chairperson for Parents Association for Children Living with Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus has urged women to acquire knowledge to prevent the two diseases.
We urge our women throughout our country, Zambia, that taking of folic acid is of great importance to the growth of the fetus, the growth of the baby, so to speak.
Esnat Ngoma, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
The United Church of Zambia has distributed free farming inputs worth 300,000 kwacha to people who were recently affected by floods in Chama district of Muchinga province. 150 beneficiaries received the consignment. UCZ Synod Communications Officer Reverend Dennis Kazwe says 700 by 50 kilogram bags of both beso and urea fertilizer have been distributed to the flood victims in Chama district. Here's a report.
This woman cannot hide her joy after receiving the farming implements from the United Church of Zambia UCZ. Mrs. Ngulube is just one of the 150 beneficiaries of this gesture from the church. The United Church of Zambia UCZ distributed free farming inputs worth 300,000 kwacha to people who were recently affected by floods in Chama district.
We have to give each beneficiary one pocket of seed, 10 kg, and 1 urea.
And Chama District Commissioner Leonard Ngoma urged the recipients not to sell the farming inputs.
So I'm very sure you will not disappoint us, because it's a big effort by the church. You know, they have brought these things all the way up to Chama.
Over 12 villages were badly affected by floods which hit Chama district in February this year, leaving many families homeless.
Hapa na pulika makola kama nipasa ulimi wonena kuti kunthaze maybe lingasinga kwa makola ine pangana na suyo lingavanalo afumako hapa
nyumba iruta vindu vipita so but church ya tivirira hapa ya chuta ngwa nkhongoni.
This donation was made possible through UCZ's partners, Council for World Mission and the Methodist Church for World Mission. UCZ also recently donated foodstuff to the victims when floods hit Chama.
MMD Livingstone District Chairperson Friday Nkonde has resigned from the party. Mr. Nkonde has told ZNBC News in a walk-in interview that he sees no future in the former ruling party because of the unresolved internal wrangles. Mr. Nkonde, who has served the former ruling party since inception in 1991, is grateful that the party allowed him to rise through various ranks.
I decided to resign from my mother party, MMD. The reason is very simple. I've seen it possible that today I have to quit the party because of the unresolved wrangles that have been going on in our party, which have actually showed to me that there is nothing holding for our future.
The Zambia women national football team has beaten the Black Queens of Ghana by 3-2 in an international friendly game played this afternoon. The She Polo Polo came from a 2-0 down to force a win via Rachel Kundananji's hat-trick in the second half. Zambia were punished in the first half to concede 2 goals. She Polo Polo coach Bruce Maben says the friendly helped him observe lapses that the team must work on. And Ghana women's national team coach Bashir Hayford says the team played well despite losing composure in the second half.
We need to improve in one or two areas, and I hope before we leave for the other camp, which will be in Ivory Coast, we'll be able to correct some of these mistakes.
It's a good match for both teams. Ghana started well and ended badly, and Zambia didn't start well and ended on a very good note because of the score line.
Ghana and Zambia were both preparing for the Women AFCON set for Ghana later this month. The Shipolopolo are expected to set best in Ivory Coast before the games. And just now, as we end the news, we recap on the top stories. Veteran politician and freedom fighter Maize Crisis has been put to rest. Secretary to the Treasury, Fred Sonyamba, implores controlling officers to ensure irregularities pronounced in the Auditor General's report begin to get reversed in future audit instances. Food Reserve Agency Board Chairperson Jose Machala says the agency has continued to buy maize as it seeks to meet the 500,000 metric tons strategic reserves. And in sports, the Zambia women national football team has beaten the Black Queens of Ghana in an international friendly game played this afternoon. That's it. That's all the news in this edition. If you can, do make a date with us again at 22 hours. I'm Rafa Kumanda. On behalf of the entire production team and our interpreter this evening, Pastor Johannes Gitan, bye for now.